Hi, I'm Justin, and today I'm going to show you how to build this modern floating bed. Hope you enjoy. We started this build by finding several inspirational pictures online of kind of what we wanted to build. This was a design-as-you-go kind of project, so we started off with the headboard, which we knew we wanted, and then developed the rest of the bed around that. The headboard is a pretty simple design. It's 1x8 planks held together with pocket screws. Once the headboard was done, we started with the construction of the main frame. We used 2x6s as the main support, and then we were going to cover it in 1x8s to act as a decorative skirt. To hold the 2x6s together and provide extra support, I used 2x4s to span the width of the bed to act as additional support and to tie everything together. With designing as you're building, there's a lot of discussion on how things gonna work and if it is gonna work. So we had to figure out several different steps along the way, but we eventually figured everything out. To keep with the floating bed look, I found these square legs that were made out of metal that I really liked. They were off of a bed from Crate and Barrel, and I wanted to give it a try. I had never really worked with metal before, so I thought I'd give it a chance and see if I could do it. By trying to cut 45-degree angles into the metal steel tubing with the angle grinder, but I found out that it was just too difficult to get an exact straight cut so that the corners would line up right and I'd get a perfect miter cut. So eventually I had to move to using a hacksaw and guide to get me the perfect 45s. It just took a little bit longer to cut all the way through the metal by hand, but I got through eventually. I wish welding was that easy. I had never really welded before, but I did have a small arc welder that I got from Harbor Freight, so I thought I'd give it a try. I kind of taught myself using YouTube and other resources, and I wasn't very good at first, but I eventually got the hang of it, kinda. I still need a lot of work, but I'm excited for all the new projects that I can start using metal. After all the welds were made, it was time to clean everything up, so I took my angle grinder with a sanding disc and cleaned off all the corners. And use the drill press to drill 3/4 inch holes so that I can bolt the legs to the bed frame. After all the pieces were cut, it was time to test assemble the bed frame. So I screwed the support 2x4s to the 2x6s and into the other end of the frame. Oh, the legs were secured to the bed frame using T-nuts and 3/4 inch bolts. After all the legs were in place, I came back with the angle grinder and flush cut the bolts so that it was flush on top. I used a 2x4 as the center support, held up by framing hardware. We ended up using 1x2 lumber to make the bed slats. After all the slats were cut to length, I took them to my router table and rounded all the edges. To secure the top 1x8, I used screws around the edges that would later be covered up by the mattress. I also used L brackets for additional support underneath. Use some paracord to attach all the bed slats together and keep them at an equal distance. I also used these little blocks of wood to lock the slats in place. To attach the headboard to the frame, I used some large L brackets. The mounting holes were not in the right place for me, so I added an additional hole so that I can secure it better to the frame. After that, the bed is pretty much complete. After a little bit of sanding, staining, and polyurethane, the bed was finished, and I think it turned out great. Really happy with the results. It turned out a lot better than I could have ever imagined. I was really happy. It does look like a piece of furniture that you would pick up from one of the high-end stores like Pottery Barn or Crate and Barrel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.